Welcome to Smash Writing.
I didn't pick that up at all. What are you doing?
Welcome to Smash Writing. I am your host, Paul. This is your other host, Justin.
We're rounding out the trilogy.
Yes, we are.
Now, you made mention during Hot Buzz how much of a mind trip it was going from Simon Pegg seeing Sean to Angel. How much was it trippy going from Sean to Angel to Gary King?
It continued. I don't know what was more trippier.
Or seeing Nick Frost go from Ed to Danny to Andy.
Yeah, to the mature one. I think both characters, while both actors is playing different characters, definitely, like I said, when you watched them, like I did, back to back, seeing, like I said, like I mentioned, Hot Fuzz, was the opening scene felt like it was a fake scene because I was used to Simon Pegg being this loser person in Shaun of the Dead, and then you're like, no, he's a badass in this one, and that then he went to a different loser.
Yeah,
like that was a big jump, and like you said, Nick Frost through this process too.
I think I really love that about both of them. Is like they showed polar ranges throughout these three movies.
Yeah,
from their characters flipping by the end of the trilogy.
See, Nick Frost's characters, the first two seem like the same.
Yeah.
But different.
But Danny had aspirations.
Yeah.
Ed did not have
Ed was a true gamer loser.
He had no aspirations to do anything besides smoke, drink, and play this game.
Where this loser version was, he at least was trying to do stuff. Like for the greater good.
The greater good. Like Danny wanted to be super cop.
Yeah, but he wasn't intelligently on that level to be what that super cop.
Yeah, he could be a good cop. He wasn't going to be, super cop.
But then you get him in The World's End, and that was
is successful business.
He's successful. Man. Well, everybody is still ordering a beer. He's ordering water. And you go to Simon Pegg's character Gary, and he mocks him for it.
Yeah.
Now give us the rundown of the plot.
The plot is you have this character Gary King, who I relate to on a personal level.
Yes.
Way more than I can.
That sounds about right.
Way more. But Gary King is a guy who's probably a mid-40s.
Dude, are you more of Simon Pegg's characters and I'm more of Nick Frost's characters?
Yeah, probably.
Because of how we grew since we know each other.
I've definitely become Gary King.
Yeah.
But I became Gary King in 2013 when this movie came out. I'm like, oh God, I'm Gary. I'm 23 and I'm Gary. And he's a midlife crisis kind of deal. He's in his upper 40s, around 40ish, and he realizes the only thing he's ever had in his life that made him happy was a failed pub crawl he did with his friends. And it's coming up on the anniversary of that, and he got all of his friends to agree to come do it again with him.
But
they didn't agree. He just kind of showed up and went, let's go. In the same car. He has the same car. And the pub crawl doesn't start out quite what he thinks it is, because all of these pubs that he remembers as dirty, grungy bars
are now truly
gentrified. They've become high-class places.
Right.
And the one was it the first one he shows up, kicks them out because they were banned from the bar 20 years ago?
Yeah, that was one.
So he ends up drinking used people's beers on the patio.
Was that the second one?
That might have been the second one.
Because I know, wasn't it the third one where it's their female friend was there?
That was the third one.
Okay. Now I'm drawing a blank on what was the first one, because
that was where you really noticed that the place has changed.
Yeah, they still did the drink.
Yeah.
It was a normal and they left. And then,
the second one kicks him out because he was banned.
And then that's when he chugs the 3 glasses.
Yeah. And then the third one is where...
I hope you never got to that level.
No. I don't go to bars. I stay home and drink alone.
That is true.
A real human being. But then the third bar, I believe it's the third one, was when Sam catches up with him. Yeah. He tries to relive that night, and she's like, you grow the fuck up, dude.
And smacks him.
He's wearing the out of order sign at one point.
Yeah, out of order.
And I think it's the fourth bar is when they start noticing the problem. The main issue. When I suggest this movie to our people who never heard of it, I suggest this movie, I go, I'm not telling you anything. And then they watch it, they're like, why didn't you war? I'm like, what the hell happened here? Because it flips on a dime, because it sets up this pub crawl between these friends who are arguing to aliens.
Yeah.
A full-on invasion of the body snatcher style. The faculty for the young children.
Yeah, yeah.
These aliens have replaced the people in the town. And not just that, but everywhere. It's spread everywhere. All of the technological advances have come across because of these aliens. They slowly start. The friends want to get out of town, and Gary's keeping them there. He's convincing them and calling them to stay. Because despite everything, Gary needs to do the pub crawl.
Yeah.
He cannot lose this again, because it's all he has.
Right.
And I think Simon's shown in that scene, was it the King's Head, when he goes on his speech?
Yeah.
He's like, because I have nothing. You guys have all succeeded and have memories. And I have this. He needs to finish the pub crawl above all else. And then you get the scene where he's finally, him and Andy are the only two left standing. Everyone else has been taken by the aliens.
Right.
And they fight. Gary fights his way into the King's Head through Andy. And he pulls the lever to fill his beer, and it goes down in there in the ship. Because the King's Head is where the ship lands. And he goes he introduces him to young Gary, and Gary he could be, and he wants to be young Gary, and he rips the young head off, and he's like, I am the only Gary. And they reject the alien, and the alien's like, fine, I'll leave then, and he takes all of his stuff with him. So it launches the humans back to old days, because all the technological advances have been because of the alien.
Aliens, right.
And you see Gary and the clones of his friends going to bars and fighting people.
Well, I
skipped a lot because I'm not going to ruin it for everyone.
No, dude.
Well, I do. It's ruined if you know about the aliens, because I think that's the biggest surprise. Because I didn't know about the aliens going in.
Yeah, when I started watching it, like I said, and we're continuing the stress of the trippiness of watching these three films, definitely back to back to back, was that it seemed going to be like a loser comedy type of thing. You wasn't really expecting it to go the sci-fi direction that it did. Whoa, you're like, whoa, wait, I thought it was about a loser drunk trying to recapture his glory days when it was actually cool to be drunk.
Down on his luck drunk thing.
down on your luck drunk type of story. And then it hits you with the aliens, and you're like, now it's going from another genre, from action now to sci-fi.
Yeah.
And these three comedy subgenres with horror, action, and sci-fi, you really didn't see. I mean, this one, like I said, it really flipped the switch on you.
Yeah.
You really didn't think it was going to be a sci-fi one until you watch it and you get to that point where you're like, oh crap, it's sci-fi.
Because I didn't watch any trailer or anything when I watched it in 2013. I just well then done. Watching it and you're like, what's going on? And then you go into the bathroom scene with the fight, and it's like, what is going on? Where are we going? What? It has a Dusk Till Dawn kind of vibe to this. It's in Dusk Till Dawn, you start out with the bank robbery, and the two go to the bar, and it becomes a vampire movie.
Right.
It switches genres on a dime.
Yeah, and that was the crazy part, is how it was like.
They do foretelling too. If you go by the names of the bars, it'll foretell what'll happen.
Yeah.
What is that? The Three Sisters Bar or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you meet the triplets that they kept talking about at the beginning. Each bar will tell you what happens,
and then at the world's end.
Yeah. That's where the world ends.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
I am Gary King. I love this. It's not just the fact that I relate to Gary. It's sad. I know. Screw off.
But hey, I relate to
Andy.
Andy because like
you relate to the evolution of Ed.
Yeah.
I relate to Gary. It's not like I'm going to be Angel.
Like I went from with Shaun, if you were involved with me, I went from like Shaun of the Dead, Ed's character, like kind of just hanging around, didn't really know what direction I wanted. Then, like I got into like movies and writing, and I'm like, I still like I want this, but I'm not there yet. And then here I am.
Still at the bottom.
And but I'm married, I'm successful, like I got a house, we sold one, got one, able to grow, evolve. I like to still think I'm still fun, like I wouldn't drink water at a pub.
I don't think you're fun.
What?
But anyway, you had Pierce, you had the aliens, I love the aliens, I love the invasion of Body Snatchers theme is great. You don't know who to trust. You don't know when they've been abducted and taken, and who's an alien, who's human. And you get Pierce Brosnan, he's just like, I'm an alien, yeah. I'll tell you what's going on. He's just the smoothest actor.
He's always
smooth as butter. Just goddamn, Pierce is good.
He was like good. I loved him in Mrs. Doubtfire. He got that. Because he even had that smooth, like, the new boyfriend dating the divorced ex-wife and all that. Then he gets into James Bond, which was more suited for him.
Yeah.
And that's his Nick.
He's a connoisseur in this movie, just sophisticated, as opposed to like the members of the group. Like even the like successful ones, they're not smooth like Pierce.
Right.
So he stands out like a father figure, and then he's like the professor that helped them when they were kids. Now, so it comes back around again on itself, where like he's helping them again, but in a wrong way.
Now, last week you talked about
and it's been my being Gary King. I would definitely throw this universe back into the Stone Age if I had a goddamn chance.
Hey, sometimes that's not a bad thing.
Yeah. Go on Twitter recently. God.
I have to stay because this is where I have to get at topics and stories and all that. Now you said Hot Fuzz was the longest. Shaun of the Dead was the shortest. How long was this one?
1 hour 49.
Okay, and Shaun of the Dead was
1 hour 39.
Okay, so this was
it's smack in the middle.
Yeah, kind of like. Not too long, not too short.
Yeah.
Kind of like...
I thought this had flowed better because of the mystery around it. Like, every pub they went
like you said...
heightened the drama.
And then the switch of a dime. Yeah. How it took you another direction where you didn't think it was going this direction. When now it's like going right, then it goes left. Yeah. Like now it's almost like two movies in one. How would you rate it?
S.
S?
S tier movie. God tier movie. Love this movie.
I'll probably stick with in the B's. I'm going to probably give it 82. A low B.
B minus?
B minus, then I guess that would be, a B minus. Just because, I did appreciate the switch of the dime and how it took into a sci-fi direction. The change of characters that both Simon Pegg and Nick Frost proved that they can alter this and all that. I do appreciate what it did. I think some of the humor fell flat with me more than the previous films.
They have the humor in it, but they got the humor, then horror, then dramatic because of Gary King. Yeah, because Gary King is devolving throughout this. It's he's desperate.
Right.
To finish this, and you feel bad for this man.
Right.
It's there's a lot going on, and you're just focused like a missile. Your friends are dropping like flies, and you just want to get to the king's head.
You gotta finish that pub crawl, no matter what.
Yeah.
The last couple weeks we gave them the grades, but still, how would you rank? How would you put these films in order?
3 Hot Fuzz, 2 Shaun, and 1 The World's End.
I would pretty much flip them for me. At The World's End would be 3.
Yeah.
Hot Fuzz number 2, and Shaun of the Dead #1. I really did think the chemistry with the two of them and the concept, the dark humor, the dry humor, and everything else like that was a really, really good touch. And since that came out in 2004, that was like at the really of the height of like the zombie. Because then I think Dawn of the Dead was coming back or something.
Yeah, it was real height of zombies.
Yeah, like it was the perfect timing. I mean, Hot Fuzz had its moments. I said last week it was just too long, but it felt there. Like it didn't really like go, oh, it's mocking this or it's mocking that. It was just like, it's a goofy action comedy.
Yeah.
The World's End was, like completely so different. You thought it was going to be one way, then the dime switch it, saved it, and that's what gives it an 82 for me. But in my order, I would go The World's End, Hot Fuzz.
I liked so many aspects. Like I love an Invasion of the Body Snatchers style story like that. The faculty. Anytime you get this alien invader species kind of deal, I love it. It's great. It always works. And then you throw on Gary. Love Gary. Gary's my man. Gary's me in 10 years.
Still be coming over.
You know what's scary is when I watched that movie, I think I had black hair too. I dyed my hair black. So
you didn't have that hairstyle though.
Well, yeah, it's probably about that length. It's just mine was never that thin. Like that, and then the red beard.
Since I've known you, had only like 2 haircuts, right? You had a short
2 or 3 probably.
I get mine done once a month.
Get mine done like once every 2.5 years.
Right.
The leap years occurred more than haircuts for me.
Overall, I think the series was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't
second best trilogy all time. What's better? What would be better for you there, Paul?
We have so many trilogies. I can't.
None better than Blood and Chocolate.
Oh,
Cornico. Greater good. The art.
And this is why
I'm Gary Kidd.
Yeah. So we burned through that trilogy. So until next time.
Bye bye.